right, we are getting loaded up, hooked up, headed to Alaska today.
Woohoo, Alaska!
And we woke up to winter this morning.
Yes, we did. We woke up to, well, they said in town 31 degrees. Our sensor out here had us at 36, but
Yeah.
we'll give it +or -5 and say that it was still
And
nippy.
yeah, we hear it's 29 in Chicken. So Chicken was 80 degrees when we left here 5 days ago. We got back 4 days later to 50-degree temps, and now in the 30s. So they don't mess around here in the Yukon. They go, when it's September, it's fall.
It's fall, baby.
Or winter for us. We are about to get on a ferry, another ferry, and cross the Yukon River. So we've had a wonderful time in Canada, seen some amazing sights, and we're ready to go back to the U.S. for a little bit.
Headed to Alaska for a couple of weeks.
Headed to Alaska.
We're here in Dawson City, about to jump on the ferry, and it was a brisk 31 degrees last night, according to the weather.com. So it was a little nippier than we've had, but I stayed warm.
Yeah, well, it slept pretty warm.
Yeah, slept good.
A little chilly getting out of bed this morning, but not too bad. So we hear it's even colder in Chicken, Alaska, where we're headed today. So maybe breaking out my ski stuff.
Maybe
by
breaking
the
out
end
the
of
flannel.
The day. Yes.
Not the flannel.
Oh, the flannel has already been out. The flannel's been out for
the
weeks.
long johns.
I may have my long underwear and my ski coat on by the end of the day.
Right.
So yeah. We'll see. There's the ferry. Looks like it's about to turn around and come get us right now.
Let's
Cool.
go to Alaska. We are crossing the Yukon River, and that's pretty cool because this is one of those rivers that you read about in school books, you know, as being way up north, and you just, it's hard to, sometimes it's hard to put those things into, you know, your mind that that's a real place. There's real people there, and you know, life goes on daily, and here we are. This particular ferry boat has a tricky route across. It's short. I'd say it's about 3 football fields, around 300 yards across, but it's a strong current, and he basically has to spin the boat sideways and run the current at about a 45-degree angle, then allow it to drift into an eddy, and then pull up onto a fairly small dirt area where we can drive off. So it's just cool to be on here, and it's cool to watch these folks work.
Top of the World Highway, also known as Yukon Highway 9, runs about 80 miles from the west bank of the Yukon River, just outside of Dawson City, to the tiny hamlet of Jackwaite, Alaska. The Canadian side of the route is unpaved, while short portions of the US side are. Sort of. It's only open during the summer months, as is the Poker Creek border crossing stationed along that route. In fact, had we been 1 day later, the border would have been closed there for the year, forcing us to retrace our path and costing us about 12 hours of driving time. This route is absolutely beautiful, running along the top of the hills with stunning views of the surrounding valleys on both sides of the road.
Oh look, you are entering a different time zone. If it's noon, if it's 1 in Yukon, it's noon here. So
Let's see if it resets. Wait, it's noon in Yukon, it's 1 here?
Mm-hmm.
So we
So
lose
it's what
an
Mom
hour.
was saying the whole time.
No, we
Oh.
lost an hour. We didn't get
I
it.
don't know.
So it's 1 in Yukon, it's 2 here.
Proceed to inspection on green light. All right, we're crossing back into our homeland.
Yes. Sort of.
Here we go.
Welcome to Alaska!
Ah, it feels good to be home.
Back in the good old US of A. We're hoping we can find some Jif peanut butter.
All kinds of good stuff.
We love Canada.
We have loved our time in Canada.
Yes, but the Canadian peanut butter is the sweetest peanut butter.
Woo!
And the jelly, I can't eat it anymore. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have diabetes.
Would you like some diabetes with your jelly?
Canada.
Yes, please.
Even James asked if I would lay off the jelly a bit. It was a bit sweet on his sandwich.
Oh my goodness.
When your 13-year-old son asks for less sugar, it's
that's something right
something.
there. That's right.
It's really kind of our first view of big Alaska, so oh, those mountains are big.
Yes, they are.
Chicken, Alaska, comprised of a small restaurant, a gas station, a bar, a small general store, and a tiny little hotel, has a summer population of 20 and a winter population of about 2. Here you can buy all the chicken-related double entendre containing merchandise you ever dreamed of, as well as 1,000 other things you never knew you needed.
That'll probably do it right there. Okay, good deal.
What you doing?
We are rotating the tires. These tires have about 10,000 miles on them now, and those gravel roads have just worn these lugs, I mean, smooth and rounded. It's pretty incredible. They're showing good wear, but still, since we carry 2 full-size spares, I'm going to rotate the spares on, put these up. Pulling these off is also going to give me a chance to clean out the incredible amount of mud that we picked up that is actually causing an imbalance in the tires. I have huge chunks of mud in here and here and here, and this is causing a massive wobble in the trailer. So we're going to get that mud cleaned out and move these to the spare. Just basically rotate everything around. I have never seen mud build like this before. So much that it causes the tire to go this wildly out of balance. Just another joy that you can find when running the Dempster. Well, good morning. We woke up to a brisk morning here in Tok, Alaska, and as I was doing a walk around, checking out gear and making sure everything was the way it was supposed to be, I noticed a significant amount of oil near the rock guard for the front of the Jeep. So we're going to pull that off and see what's going on this morning. I'm hoping that it's a loose oil filter, but we'll see. The temperature's been running right, the oil pressure's been good. I'm letting the Jeep warm up right now so that I can actually check the level, and we'll get to the bottom of what's going on here. Awesome. So I do have oil leaking from the oil filter location. So what I'm hoping is that during some of our more aggressive off-roading, That just vibrated a little loose. I'm gonna check it right now. Okay. That was not loose. Just a good thing, bad thing. All right, so I let the engine get up to full operating temperature, and then according to the owner's manual, it said approximately 5 minutes after you do that, shut it down and check the oil. And so we're gonna do that right now. I see that it has been dripping some oil, so I will probably add some if it shows to be low. We'll just see how we do there. I think we're about 3 hours from Fairbanks, Alaska, and if we're low on oil, I'd rather sacrifice some oil to an oil change than run for that long without the right amount of fluid in there. Yeah, we are a little low, so I'm gonna go ahead and add some oil to that. So I always carry extra fluids with me just in case something like this happens. And so I have about 3 quarts of Mobil 1 synthetic 5W20, which is what I run here in the Grand Cherokee. So we're gonna put in a quart, check it, put in a quart, check it, and just see what we need to do to get back up to full operating capacity. All right. I added just under a quart. So I'm gonna do that a couple times until I get it up to where it needs to be. Note to self, would have been nice to have a funnel. Something to add to the kit. All right, so I went back and checked a few things off camera, and as I went to wipe some oil out from around where the oil filter would be, I bumped it and it actually turned a little bit. And I realized, oh, my oil filter was loose. So I tightened it up, wiped it all clean, wiped all the surfaces clean around it, and watched that for a while, and no more oil is leaking. So I think I just had a loose oil filter, which is just amazing. In, well, 34 years of driving, I've never had an oil filter come loose. I do my own oil changes, and so I'm the one who tightens those things to exactly what I want. But this is just another example of how rough the Dempster Highway and the road between Inuvik and Tuktoyaktuk was, that it would actually vibrate something like that loose. That's the second part, one in the Jeep and one in the trailer, that has succumbed to the vibration of that trail. So you've got to stay on top of your equipment and make sure that you're doing these little pre-maintenance checks before you hit the road each day. That stuff's important. A leak like that left unchecked could cause disaster down the road. So in this case, it was all good. We got away with it. We're ready to go to North Pole, Alaska.
Terry spent hours every day mapping our travels, calculating distances, and trying to make sure we weren't still searching for a campsite long after dark. But lunchtime regularly offered us the perfect excuse to wander off-road in search of hidden gems. Sometimes a sign would catch our eye, or occasionally it was just the look of a path that appeared to offer access to somewhere special. We found beautiful lakes, hidden valleys, and breathtaking views just a few miles off of our planned routes. Of course, there was always the risk of finding ourselves at a dead end with no good option for turning around, but the rewards seemed to outweigh the risk.
We just stumbled on this beautiful little lunch spot. I saw a sign for Jan Lake, and we said, you know what? Let's go have lunch. And here we are, and it's just gorgeous. Well, today is kind of a mixed bag. We have had an amazing campsite here at Chena Lake Recreation Area. And I mean, just gorgeous, surrounded by these beautiful birch trees. There's been just a light breeze blowing this morning, and so as a result, the leaves have just been sort of raining gently down, and it's been absolutely gorgeous. The sun is shining. I got cool last night, but right now it's just stunning. So that's the good side. The bad side is we were just informed by our ranger that they're closing this park down today, and we had expected to be here for the next 3 or 4 days. So that was a bit disappointing. We
it's finding dispersed camping is always one of the challenges. And when you find something like this, of course, we're not dispersed, we're in this park, but they had closed it down. And so as a result, they told us, now go in and camp. You ought to be able to stay here until around November the 1st. If, of course, we weren't going to stay here that long, but that created options for us. And then they weren't charging us, which was just amazing. I mean, that is an incredible gift. And so we are very thankful for that. But at the same time, it was tough to get the news this morning that, we got to get back out there and look for a spot. And the reason we're staying in Fairbanks, of course, is that we are in the process of ordering and then installing a diesel heater in the trailer. It's been getting a little nippy in there, and we want to make sure that everybody's as comfortable as we can be. So that's why we're going to continue to be in the area probably for the next 4 or 5 days. This has been a beautiful morning, and we're going to start getting organized to go find another beautiful spot.